Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Lock Shop. We're back with you once again, Nielsen and Hustler, brought to you by our friends at Coolbet Canada. Sign up for an account today. Just use the bonus code LOCKSHOP, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. You can find him on Twitter at Hustlerama. I'm at Nielsen TSN1260. Thank you very much for popping by today. Huss, how was the week, man? What's up? I'm sure things are going great in Winnipeg today.
Oh, well, yeah, the Jets served up a double XL size shit sandwich to the fans last night at Canada Life Center against the Ottawa Senators, right when they needed to win the most. It was, no, put it this way, was far more looking forward to the Lock Shop today than talking about that on Winnipeg Sports Talk this afternoon. That being said, Line A is back tonight. Going to be a really cool night at the rink. Columbus and Winnipeg going at it. Jets in the back-to-back. And I am working on, we'll wait till Chris gets on, but a very special Lock Shop and Winnipeg Sports Talk exclusive parlay bet, the double revenge game special for both Laine and Dubois to score. We're going to get Uncle Chris to boost the odds. So we'll see where we're at with that. Just waiting on a couple numbers right now. So make sure, in addition to checking out the partner parlay, check out that one for the Jet game tonight. And we'll talk to Chris about that a little later on when he comes on.
Yeah, we've got a bunch to get to today. Chris Abbott's going to join us a little bit later on for the boosted partner parlay. We got a 5-1 NHL parlay for you tonight that we'll get to. Formula One is tough on a Friday. I'll definitely be tweeting out some picks a little bit later on, but we can dive in a little bit. World Cup qualifying we're going to get to as well. We've got action on the hard court, both NBA and March Madness. Arizona and Gonzaga both falling yesterday, which was huge. The Duke Blue Devils remain alive, and Kansas is still kicking around, aren't they? I had them at 12-1. Is my pick to win this thing on the Lock Shop. So fingers crossed that they can continue to go on a little run. So we always say, there's no football, but man, right now there's a ton of stuff to bet. So that's nice.
Dude, yesterday, I had golf bets all day. They didn't go very well. Some women's curling bets at the World Championships, soccer with the World Cup qualifiers, and then all the hockey and the basketball going on. And then there was March Madness. I did not, and hopefully this bodes well, because last week coming into the Friday Lock Shop, I had a terrible Thursday. And last week's Friday show, I went 10-1 with the picks and somehow managed to serve up my one loser of 11 picks as the partner parlay selection. So I still regret that. But the wide world of wagering was a perfect 6-0 to start it off. We'll kind of there's so much going on today. I didn't really need to get into the women's tennis world and whatnot today with everything else going on. But it was a very, very good start. And I want to give a shout out to the guys from the Going for Two pod who Coolbet supports. I ran with them on their boosted parlay yesterday, and that saved my ass last night. I think they had something coming in at about let's see, what was the number? Yeah, plus 375. So nicely done, gentlemen. I appreciate that. And I always like when people jump on our parlays and we get them a winner. So shout out to the Going for Two guys. They helped me out big time yesterday.
Nice job getting the job done there. Let's get to Friday night in the National Hockey League. Not a heavy schedule. Fridays usually aren't crazy busy in the National Hockey League. I think we got 5 games on the slate tonight. So a little bit of overlap in our picks here, Huss. But where are you going, buddy?
Well, I'm going to start it off with Pittsburgh, and this is a weird game because Pittsburgh and the Rangers are both coming off pretty bad losses. Pittsburgh had been rolling, but as I said last week, I believe on Tuesday, or maybe it was on Winnipeg Sports Talk, Buffalo is a big home underdog, looks pretty good. Maybe there's a little bit of a lull from the Penguins, and that's exactly what happened. Buffalo won 4-3. The Rangers, on the other hand, are coming off a very strange game. Shesterkin getting run out of the net, giving up 5 goals. They ended up losing 7-4 to the Devils. To me, this game, considering where both these teams are right now, coming off those losses, I just have a lot more confidence in Pittsburgh as a complete team and as a more veteran team, maybe to come back and bounce back from a loss like they had last night. So, this game is very close. When I put the picks in, it was minus 115 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's see if that's changed at all right now. Nope, pretty much the same thing. Rangers still at minus 102. So I'm going to jump on Pittsburgh on the money line to get the win at MSG against the Rangers. I'll go to my final pick, Philly, Colorado, over 6.5. This is plus money right now. And I thought about going it to +6, but I really do think that Colorado, coming off that loss to Vancouver a couple days ago, gets the big guns out and has some fun lighting up the scoreboard. I mean, Philly's a team that can score at times. They don't defend very well. So I think we're going to get a lot of goals in this game. So give me the over 6.5 in Philly, Colorado. And then the other game I'm putting in, and this was a little bit of a value play, considering, and maybe I was still shell-shocked from how bad the Jets were last night, but I pull up the odds last night, and the Jets are -182, and Columbus was +155. To me, that number made absolutely zero sense. And I'm telling you right now, folks, Patrick Laine is going to be ready to go for this game tonight. He's one of the hottest scorers in the league. I think he gets one. Very interested to see how Pierre-Luc Dubois responds, getting a chance to play against his team. Now, he, of course, did play in that earlier game. Laine wasn't in, but this is a real head-to-head matchup. So we'll talk about the head-to-head nature of it a little earlier on. Just the Jets playing on the second night of back-to-backs, playing the backup goalie against a motivated team that I think are really going to want to come to play for Laine. I kind of hope the Jets win, but I think I have to look at Columbus and this number at +155. I think it's gone down a little bit. It's +144 right now. But I'm just going to be straight with you. The Jets don't deserve to be a -170 or -180 favorite against anybody right now, especially playing on the second night of back-to-backs. And as good as Eric Comrie's been so far this season, still the backup goalie. So that's sort of where I'm looking at. And if you do want to parlay those together, the number might be a little different than what it is what it was last night. But you're looking at nearly 9-1 +863 on those three selections.
Man, if that 863 hits, that's the best way to start a weekend ever. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet. I'm playing it much safer. I'm going with a classic puck line parlay tonight that's going to pay +260. It's wild because if you go to Coolbet right now, on Calgary and Colorado, the top it's -2.5. The puck line is 2.5 on 2 games tonight. And I've learned my lesson. I'm 1-1 on the 2.5s so far this season, but you can move it down and get a little bit of different value. So I am going to go on the Rangers +1.5, with Shesterkin. If he does in fact start, I just looked and it said it's unconfirmed, but he's projected, but it's unconfirmed. But I'm going to go with the Rangers with him bouncing back +1.5. So at home, they just got to keep it within a goal at -256. And then, I mean, Arizona and Philadelphia are absolute train wrecks. And the Coyotes, like the Wings, they've screwed me a couple of times this year. But Calgary setting the stage for a big battle on Saturday night against the Edmonton Oilers. Hopefully they're not looking too far ahead here. So I'll go Calgary -1.5 at home, and Colorado also at home here -1.5 at -161 and -167 respectively. And that pays +260. So you need the Avs and Flames by 2 and the Rangers to keep it within 1. And you'll get +260 on that tonight, Huss.
You know, both Alberta teams emerged on my personal shit list on Tuesday night. I had the two picks. The one parlay from the lock shop had the first 2 games in. Calgary needed Calgary -1.5. They're up a goal in the third period, and then boom, give up 2 goals in about a minute and a half and end up losing. And then it was the same thing. I had an additional parlay with the other 2 games in. I had the Oilers. Oilers are looking good. 5 minutes left. They're up by 1. And the exact same damn thing happened. So 4 for 6. However, those 2 games, which looked very, very good, ended up nuking a couple of beauty tickets. But that being said, you're not going to win them all. Hopefully we can get the wins right now to start this weekend, as you just mentioned.
Let's slide from the ice over to the hard court with the association. We'll start there. We'll bang out some March Madness picks for you as well. But let's start with the NBA. And we're on 4 different games tonight. Huss, take it away, buddy. You got 2 games you like here.
Well, I'm starting it off with the Jazz in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. Jazz, one of the top teams in the West right now, 45-28, a team that's above 500 away from home. But coming off a couple of disappointing losses, they got blown out against the Celtics and lost against the Knicks. Before that, they had won 3 in a row. I think this is a real get-right game for the Jazz going up against a team that, certainly is not quite in their caliber. And you don't like laying big numbers on the road, but I think 3.5 is a tolerable number to make. So we're going to take the Jazz minus 3.5 on the road. Now, the other game, and this is an interesting one. I'm so used to the Timberwolves being one of the most garbage teams in the league. We're not used to them being actually, half decent. But they're taking on the Dallas Mavericks, and the Mavs have really, really turned it on as of late. I mean, they're right there, with the Jazz and with the Warriors at the top of the West, 45-28. But the Timberwolves actually are pretty good too, 10 games above 500 with a pretty strong home record at 24-13. Now, these two teams played just 2 games ago, and the Mavs were able to beat them in a close one at home. So I do sort of think the Timberwolves might be better, might be looking for a little bit of revenge. I just think the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic are a better team. And, this game was at 2. I took an alternate line at 3.5 for the Mavs at minus 128. So I wouldn't be surprised if they won this game. I do think it'll be close either way. So getting the extra 1.5, I think, is a good pick. I feel a little bit better about it. So we're taking that number, Mavs plus 3.5 at minus 128, and might even put those together on a smaller 2-gamer for the NBA tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go against the Clippers for my first pick tonight. The Clippers have lost 5 in a row, failed to cover in all of them. So they've also missed against the spread 5 games in a row. 76ers are coming off that game against the Lakers, in which the Lakers did not have LeBron James, and the Sixers were still pushed by essentially Russell Westbrook and a bunch of nobodies on the Los Angeles Lakers, and had to end up winning by 5 in that game. I think they put the boots to the Clippers tonight. So I like the 76ers. It was minus 5.5 when I locked it in this morning. And then some interesting things going on with the Miami Heat. You see Haslam going at Jimmy Butler. Butler stood up. So they've lost 2 in a row. There's obviously a little bit of infighting going on with the Miami Heat. They need a get-right game. And I think the Knicks kind of set the table here for a get-right game pretty nicely for the Miami Heat.
I was looking at that one too. I'm like, knowing that they were like going at it with each other. Could you have a better schedule?
I know.
Than the Knicks coming in to, have everyone have a great game, run all over the Knicks. Were they not supposed to be good this year? Like, they had a good season
Everybody
last year,
thought they were going to take a step from what they did last year. They went out and kind of approached it that way in the offseason. And, Huss, it's safe to say it backfired, buddy.
Yeah, they took a step just the wrong direction, like way back, maybe a couple steps back right now. Feel bad. I like RJ Barrett. Was hoping that, he could be part of a real resurgence in New York, because the NBA is more fun when the Knicks are good. But first take is better when the Knicks are bad. So
yeah.
Let's go with that.
All right, let's slide into March Madness. Then we'll bring in Chris Abbott from Coolbet. He's just logging in, so we'll get him set up. But a few different plays on March Madness heading into the weekend. Cinderella run there, St. Peter's. And, man, I don't know if they can win another one, but you don't mind them at 12.5 here, Huss.
You know what? I think this has just been such an amazing story. The St. Peter's team is, what are they, the 12 seed, getting all the way to getting all, or actually, no, they were a 15 seed.
They're a 15 seed, aren't they? Yeah.
15 seed all the way. Now they're going up against Purdue. Purdue obviously is the favorite, but I just think that with Egert, the way he's shooting the ball, the energy that St. Peter's has, I think they're able to stay in a game. And Purdue, like so many of those Big Ten teams, they don't really run anybody out of the gym. I mean, they just, handle things. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a lower scoring game. So because of that, I'll take the points, plus 12.5 with St. Peter's. And then tomorrow, I'm going to roll with UCLA. They're going up against North Carolina, 4 seed versus the 8 seed, only laying 2 points in this game. I mean, again, take this for what it's worth. My entire college basketball watching has been in bits and pieces since the start of the tournament. But St. Peter's has been a great story. I think they are in this game, so I'm going to take the points. And UCLA was my pick to come out of that bracket. They've looked good so far. I think they get it done, and don't mind laying the 2 points in the game on Sunday.
I'm going to ride with my Duke Blue Devils here. I had Kansas as my pick to win it all for the lock shop, and in all my brackets I filled out, I had to go with Duke, Coach K's final year. The path has kind of gotten a little easier along the way. They get this Arkansas team in the Elite Eight. Baylor knocked out on their side. Gonzaga knocked out on their side. Things are starting to sort of fall into place here for Duke to maybe take a run at the entire thing. And so far in this tournament, they have faced some adversity. And when the adversity is hit, this team's actually stepped up and played some really good basketball. I don't know if they learned a lesson, losing that final game against UNC or losing in the ACC championship game, but they've lost some big moments along the way so far this year, and I'm wondering if they've taken something from those experiences because they were down against Michigan State, came back, closed strong there. They hit their final 8 shots in their last game, a victory as well, obviously. So they get Arkansas. I'm going to take Duke -4. And then Houston's been on a great run, and there was a little bit of pre-tournament buzz about Houston. What are they, a 5 seed? I think they're a 5 seed coming out of their region, and they're favored it going into this game against Villanova. So I'm going to take Villanova as a 2-point dog in this one. I think Villanova actually wins this game. Just for Gitch, Lock Shop regular Gitch, he's already in the comments section today saying, Villanova was my pick. They're still alive, guys. So who am I to go against Gitch today? So I'm on Nova +2 this weekend and Duke -4 to book a ticket to the Final Four with a victory over Arkansas. So there's our plays for March Madness this weekend.
I've been hoping that Coach K turns into Coach L each and every game Duke has been playing so far this event.
You go to hell.
I'm traumatized at how the bracket has just sort of fallen in their favor right now. But I can't blame you for going on them. It does sort of look like there's a little bit of that Duke magic that drives a lot of people crazy, but it's happening right now. Thought they were lucky to escape last night, though. I will say that they certainly got pushed in their game last night, but it's all about moving on and advancing, and they've been doing it.
Yeah, they have been able to do that. Let's bring in Chris Abbott from Coolbet Canada joining us today. I don't know if he's been hammering March Madness. I know for sure people have been hammering March Madness. Chris, have you been dabbling in the madness a little bit on a daily basis here?
No. Just the timing just hasn't been good, as you can hear by my voice. I've been sick all week, and then we've also been planning for this Ontario kind of relaunch where we have to basically split our customer database in 2 and everything that goes along with that. So, So the only thing I tuned in to the end of the Gonzaga game last night because we had a big boosted parlay riding on it, and worked out in the book's favor. Imagine that. And it reminded me why I get so frustrated watching basketball. Like, who did they play with? Arkansas.
That was Arkansas. Gonzaga,
that was Arkansas, yeah.
Arkansas's up like 10 points, 5 minutes left, 30-second shot clock in college basketball. None of these guys are in math class because they run down the floor and jack up a 3 in 10 seconds. And it's like, just hold on to the ball. Hold on to the ball. Run a play. And I get, that's kind of the excitement of like college and junior sports and whatever, but like, it just drives me crazy. So I'm actually glad I've stayed away from it. I don't think my heart can handle it.
Well, and Coach K helped the book out for that bet stamp boosted parlay. I was all over that, was all fired up. We got Houston over Arizona in the first game, and then it was just time for Texas Tech to take out Duke. They were up in the second half, and then they managed to come through at the end. But no shortage of drama so far in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some really close games coming up in the rest of this weekend.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's exciting, right? I just haven't been involved. Back in my Odd Shark days, I used to follow college basketball because one of the things I had to do was write about the futures every single week. So, I mean, I was plugged into basketball and college football and just, I don't want to pretend that I know anything about it. So I can't. But I will sit back. I'm sure I'll catch some games this weekend and enjoy it. However, I mean, massive sports weekend here in Toronto.
Yes.
I've got the Toronto Rock have got an early start. It's Kids Day on Saturday. I'm doing that. Then my buddy called me the other day. He's like, "You want to go to the Raptors game?" And I was like, "At 7:30 start." So I'll be able to do both. And then somebody else called me and asked if I wanted to go to the soccer game. I didn't have to spend a dime, and I'm getting a huge weekend. It doesn't often happen like that, but everything aligned, and I'm going to get to take it all in. So pretty cool. And then of course you got Montreal, Toronto, and Calgary, Edmonton on Saturday night. There's a UFC card. F1 is back. Like it's It's so busy. The World Women's Curling, the Dell Match Play. I got Hyunjin Ryu getting beat around the park in Dunedin on my TV over here. It's great.
Hey, you know what? I was going to save this for the end, but while you're here, we may as well hit on it right now before we get to the partner parlay. Tough night for Canada last night in Costa Rica, losing for the first time in the World Cup qualifier. You sort of knew they were going to be up against it when they went down to 10 men in the first half. Although I'll say this, I mean, I couldn't believe, like, I'm not versed enough in soccer. I've kind of, come from the hockey mentality, go, wait a second, you're shorthanded for the rest of the game. What does that do? But oh my God, they were able to get some incredible chances and came up just short. That being said, it leads me to the game that you'll be at. And I'm often jealous of you, Chris, not often more jealous than I will be this week, because the way this has worked out, we're clinching our spot in the World Cup this weekend. You're going to be at it. And I was looking last night. The lines weren't out right now. Canada, Jamaica is up. And Canada, minus 286 to win. But I think this is going to be, apparently I was talking with somebody yesterday on the show, like 6 of the top Jamaican players aren't even coming. They're not leaving their teams right now. And Jamaica's at the bottom. They've got 8 points to begin with. So I think this is a dominating Canadian performance. I'm taking Canada minus a goal at plus 185. And to be honest, I might even consider the 2. So to win a 3-0 game or win by 3 is plus 275. Maybe a little aggressive, but I'm definitely going to take the -1 at plus 105. And I think you are going to be part of a major party. And here in Winnipeg, I'll just put this, you guys will get a kick out of this. I live in an area, Little Italy, and every single World Cup without fail, the Italians take over the block, a place that we drink a lot at, a place called Bar Italia, great spot, is sort of their headquarters. Well, I can tell you, Italy is out and Canada is taking over Cordon Avenue. Bar Italia will be Bar Canada come November. Italy is done, and for the first time in our lifetimes, everyone's going to be getting behind the Canadians, even in Little Italy and Winnipeg. So I'm fired up about that.
Obviously, a Little Italy here in Toronto, too, a pretty big one. And it's a cool place to hang out. And I'm on the Fan Morning Show with JD this morning, and he's actually coming to the game with me. I'm bringing him as my +1. And the vitriol he was spewing about second, third, fourth generation Canadians still cheering for the motherland and not for Canada. And I'm like, hey, we'd like to welcome all the Italians to the Canadian bandwagon. And he's like, it's about time, you guys. And I was like, I guess we're not going to Little Italy before the game on Sunday. But it's weird, right? Because for years and years, you couldn't cheer for the Canadian team because it was pointless. They didn't get out of CONCACAF. So to see it going the other way, it's weird, but it's cool.
Well, and the other thing, just about Italy for a second. I mean, I think what was North Macedonia to win yesterday?
They were 14-1. That's where they closed.
14-1 to win that. So yeah, we missed out. Gitch, if you're listening, you really missed out on a major big money long shot underdog yesterday. But think about this for a second. Italy is not in this World Cup. They didn't qualify for the last World Cup. And yet in the middle of it, they win the Euro. I mean, this is like missing the playoffs, winning the Stanley Cup, and then missing the playoffs. That's the only thing I can compare it to.
Well, that's how thin the wedge is in that sport, though, right? Because it's so low scoring. It happens in the NHL, too. Like a win turns into a loss real fast in the National Hockey League. Like last night, like you were saying, Canada could have won that game. Costa Rica parked the bus in the second half. And I get it. They wanted to get the points and but I mean, they left it wide open. And if not for some bad luck, Canada wins that game. And it was fun to watch. I thought it really gave our Canadian players a chance to showcase their skill. Like they have infinitely more skill than that team. And the kid, I don't know his name. The kid they brought on late, number 6 there in the center mid. They said he was like 19. He was unbelievable.
They were raving about him. I was watching that. You're right. His name, it's killing me. You guys, I can't remember his name either, but like this is his first look, and he looked awesome, man. He looked great.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, we'll get the roster up and give the guy the props that he's due. But like, if that's the future of Canadian soccer, like this isn't going to be the last World Cup we qualify for. And speaking of which, Hustler, yeah, they're minus 286 on the 3-way money line. But I guess all we need is a point. We might not even need a point. We might get in with a loss depending on the combination. And the double chance for Canada to win or draw is minus 1250. So it's all but said and done. I mean, it would be the most Canadian soccer thing ever for us to not get a single point out of this kind of thing and be left hanging. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Those days are done. Listen, we're beating Mexico in the United States 2-0. What are we going to do to half of a terrible Jamaican team?
Exactly.
We're going to kill them, folks. I'm just telling you, I don't often feel this confident about wagers, and often those lose, so take that for what it's worth. But you are going to see a great game. You're going to see a vintage performance of Canada stomping on their opponents and emphatically planting the flag at the top of CONCACAF and booking our ticket to Qatar.
I will tell you this. Caravana's been canceled in Toronto for the last couple of years. There is going to be a hell of a Jamaican contingent at this match. Like, don't think when you turn on your TV it's going to be all red and white, because it's not. There's a massive Jamaican population here, and they will be out and they will be loud. So that'll be a bit of fun too.
I can't wait to watch it. Nice we're at a point now in this country where we're like, I can't wait till Sunday for the soccer game. Like that doesn't even sound right. But here we are. It's wild. It's awesome.
This is going to take over. This is going to take over. And this event is going to be in November. It's going to be in the middle of NFL season. The Grey Cup will be happening. The National Hockey League will be going. All of that is going to take a backseat to the World Cup and Canada in it. Mark my words on that.
That's going to be
all right. Let's get to our boosted partner parlay tonight. I'll bring up the graphic after. Let me lay out the numbers, and then we can discuss our picks. And then when we're done with Chris, I'll throw it up there so anybody can get it. I'm on Washington in regulation. A little bit of a ballsy play with the way these two teams have been trending lately. But Washington in regulation, -118. Huss is on Calgary, -1.5 at -151. And then Tage Thompson. I feel like Chris Abbott's been making a living off of Tage Thompson lately. It's like +420 something. He's boosting it up to 5-1. So we're sitting at +500 here. Huss, what do you got? What were you going to say?
Well, no, I was just going to say every single time Buffalo plays, and I've sort of like Chris turned me on to Buffalo, and I have been betting them quite a bit. I gave them out actually as an underdog against Pittsburgh on Winnipeg Sports Talk a couple days ago when they came through. But literally every time I see on the ticker or on a thing Tage Thompson, I'm like, oh, I can 3, 2, 1 incoming tweet from @CoolBet Chris going, he did it again. Cash it.
He paid my mortgage this month. I swear to God, this guy is unbelievable. He's
going to score 30.
Beast. He's a beast, man. And that line with him, Skinner, and Tuck. And here's something I've noticed watching this team play. Don Granato, real good in-game coach. Like, he will get them away from matchups. He'll double shift them. He's not just rolling his 4 lines. Like, very impressed with the way Don Granato runs his bench. And I'm starting to wonder if I'm not going to – no. I mean, it's a short drive. It's a short drive. Like, could I be a Buffalo Sabres season ticket holder in the next couple of years? I don't know. That's foolish.
I don't know why you wouldn't be. I don't know why you wouldn't be. It's cheaper. Way cheaper.
Way cheaper.
Even with the gas. The price of 10 Leaf games, you could it's just the gas getting there right now. That's it. Maybe you set up shop Coolbet HQ around Niagara Falls or the Hammer.
Wouldn't be the first time I spent a couple of nights in Niagara Falls or the Hammer, that's for sure. But yeah, no, Tage Thompson's been
so you're on Thompson, yeah, -140. Is that like if people caught on, like, has that line moved quite a bit over the last while, Chris? Or is that why you're milking this thing?
No, I don't think like the book should. If they do a check their history, they're getting beat on it. I mean, it's creeping up there now, but like Alex Tuck is -154, Thompson's -143, so it's getting there. But like when you think about it, Ovechkin's -323, Kuznetsov -217. So the reason we get a good price on this is that Buffalo's often like a huge underdog, right?
Yeah.
And barring my expected goals rant there a few weeks back. That's how the odds are set. So if Buffalo's only expected to score 2.5 goals, there's only 6 points maximum to go around on those 2 goals. So then just that's where the math comes in, and that's where you get how it works. Price.
Yeah. Well, we might be able to hit both of these tonight because you got Tage Thompson. I got Washington in regulation. Buffalo's been good, though. They've won 5 of their last 6. The Caps have actually lost their last 2, so I'm kind of thinking Sabres maybe fat and happy here, and I'll go Washington on the road in regulation tonight. Huss, you are the one person who's not on this game tonight in some way, shape, or form. We talked about Calgary a little bit earlier on. Do you care to dive back into this?
Well, I mean, I'll just say this. I mean, I didn't really touch on it, but I mean, Calgary has been scoring a ton of goals, and I have a feeling that Daryl Sutter is not going to let them remind what happened to them against the Sharks in the third period of their last game. So, I mean, I think they come out with a good start. I think they step on the throat. And to be honest, I mean, I did laugh when I pulled up CoolBet and saw the line was at -2.5 for that game. I might actually touch on that myself aside from this. But for the partner parlay, let's go win by 2 for Calgary over Arizona after that shocking home loss and blown third period lead against San Jose earlier this week.
So I also think that, well, you know how I've been saying with the Tage Thompson the last few weeks. By the way, Jeff Skinner minus 111 to get a point. You bet that too. The plus 2.5s have been money. They really, really have, right? Dusty, we ran up against it on the other side a couple weeks ago, laying 3 goals with the team. But both of these games tonight with minus 400 favorites, you can't convince me to take Arizona or Philly plus 2.5.
They're both on my parlay. They're both on my picks, my NHL picks. I've got a puck line parlay. Both those games are on it. But I did move it down to minus 1.5 because it's a little bit of a parlay I got working on. But I mean, even minus 1.5 for both those teams, you're getting like minus 160 tonight. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I wouldn't be able to play the plus 2.5 in that game because they're very easily 5-1 games, very easily. Yeah. Just those teams.
Bet the 2.5 then too.
I don't know how the playoffs would work out, but if Calgary and Colorado played in the Western Conference Final, like I wouldn't be shocked. Not in the least bit.
Wow. You haven't watched the Oilers play lately. According to us here in Edmonton, the Oilers are going to knock off the Calgary Flames in the second round of the playoffs. So we'll see how that plays out. Chris, next week, go ahead.
I was just say, as long as we get the Battle of Alberta, that's all that matters. Like whoever wins, I mean, without any skin in the game, that is the series that has to happen. So I have no doubt the Flames are going to be there. And the way the Oilers are looking, like I think we very well could have. Originally, I thought it would be the first round with Vegas. Well, they're done. Yeah. So now the Oilers got to win a round to get there. But man, would that be amazing come springtime?
I mean, I know it's been overdone in your market, Dusty, but the Evander Kane thing looks like,
he fell into their lap, like found money. Dude's gonna score 20 goals in not even the full second half of the season. What's that, Hus?
I know.
8-year deal coming.
Has there been any discussion about what he's been like around the team, around the room? Has he been a distraction, like buffling through all his clothes in the shower? Like,
it's been pretty quiet here. It's been pretty quiet here so far. I mean, it's still very early into his tenure here. If he's going to be, I got people texting in being like, you got to find a way to keep him for 3 more years. I'm like, well, we might be jumping into it a little bit too soon, but he's been on the ice. He's been better than expected. So it's been a nice pickup. Absolutely. Yeah, he's been good. Yeah. The guy from Winnipeg just sitting there shaking his head, being, wait and see what happens. Chris, next week.
My buddies in Buffalo say the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. I guess everybody does. San Jose as well. Next week, not that we'll go we'll bore everybody with it, but we got to dive into. You mentioned you're splitting your database and all that stuff with CoolBet with what's going on in Ontario. So just a heads up, we'll get into that a little bit next week on the Lock Shop.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Like people inside Ontario will notice a slight change. People outside of it won't see any difference. It's just we have to operate by some different rules in Ontario and have to have a different URL just because we're taking out a license from the province of Ontario. So it's been a lot of work, but that's all behind the scenes stuff. People won't really notice much.
All right, perfect.
And regardless of what province you're watching it, whether you're in Alberta or Manitoba or Ontario, it's all the same thing on the Lock Shop. We need winners. That's it.
Exactly. That's all we're about is getting those dubs. Chris, enjoy that soccer game on Sunday, buddy. We'll catch up next week.
Absolutely, boys. Have a great weekend. Good luck.
Tweet lots from the game. The game.
I will.
He will. I am jealous. I can't believe I'm jealous of people going to a soccer match in Toronto. Yet here we are, Huss. It's bizarre.
I know. Well, I mean, listen, it's been a weird year with us kind of starting Winnipeg Sports Talk and now being able to travel and do the show like we did from Saskatoon for the Olympic curling trials. But a lot of this stuff has sort of come quickly, but I really do regret. My biggest regret of the year was not being out in Edmonton at those games with you guys there. I mean, that just looked so amazing. And tell you what, clinching time on the weekend, Chris is going to be there. Canada going to the World Cup. I am just so excited. And I think that, we are just scratching the surface on what this is going to mean in this country for the sport and how it is followed right now. But, if you haven't been paying attention, just look up Adam Seaborn's Twitter feed and check out the television ratings for these games over the course of qualifying. You might not have got on board yet, but like half of the country already has. It's destroying everything else. And The TV ratings in Canada, by the way, are so funny. People shit on the CFL. It always kicks ass.
I know.
I was looking at people say the same thing about curling. Oh, what was number one on Wednesday night? It's Carrie Anderson and like another 100,000, and then you get into all these hockey games and March Madness and stuff. And I'm telling you right now, soccer's going to be in the same thing. So what are you waiting for, people? Get behind it. It's clinching time on the weekend. Canada -1. Take it to the bank.
All right, there you go. That's our boosted partner parlay there too. If you want to get one more look at it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweet out my Formula One plays. It's tough because they're just getting into like they're on the track right now for second practice. There's no odds up. I looked this morning. There were some odds. I know for sure I'll be on Bottas top 6 again. He hit for me last week. Probably be on maybe double Ferrari in the top 3 again. But I'll tweet those out once. It's weird with Formula One because you're going to get different odds later today after practice. Then you get different odds tomorrow after qualifying. So if you like a guy, you got to be able to pick your spot. So just watch. I'll actually tweet out from the Lock Shop Twitter account. So at Lock Shop Bets is where you can give us a follow there. Huss, Winnipeg Sports Talk. What do you got coming up today?
Yeah, well, I mean, Liney's back in town. I mean, it's going to be a pretty wild night. I mean, there'll be a lot of talk about Patrick. We'll hear from him. We've got one of the journalists that cover the Blue Jackets coming on as well. Ken Weeb's going to join us. And my buddy, Nick Ziffarelli, will pop on. And Ziff, Winnipeg people that remember the warm-up knows that Ziff would come on with me weekly, and we'd make football picks and do a lot of the similar things we do in the Lock Shop. Nick is also my go-to guy for international soccer, and we're going to find out how the hell Italy is out of the World Cup, and then we'll talk about Canada, Jamaica, and I don't know, see what he's betting for the weekend as well. So it should be great. 1 o'clock on YouTube. So coming up in just over 10 minutes. If you haven't checked the show before, just put in Winnipeg Sports Talk on YouTube, hit the sub, and join us. We're there every day, 1 p.m. Central, Monday to Friday.
There you go. You can find him there. I'm going to be off the radio for a week, but I'm going to be streaming from my parents' house, just like I always dreamed I could, huh? So it'll be good next week. We'll have another episode of The Lock Shop on Tuesday and then Friday again as well. As best of luck, everybody, this weekend. Man, it's such a great week. Chris was right. Like, you got great NHL rivalries on Saturday. You got March Madness going on. You got the Canadian soccer. You got Formula One. It's just a great weekend to be betting sports, man.
And Dell match play. I mean, we're finding out. I have all these pod bets right now that we're going to find out how they come about this afternoon. And Corey Connors, by the way, Mac Hughes had a big win yesterday. They're both in it right now. We could have 2 Canadians potentially in the final 16. But definitely check the odds. Usually they'll come out late at night, I think, after these matches have been done. But yeah, you'll go from the 16s in the morning, the 8s in the afternoon, and then the final 4 on the weekend. So that is a really, really fun thing to bet. Very different than normal golf betting. So make sure to check that out. It's over on the main page as well. And keep an eye on the boosted odds parlays, because later on this afternoon, we should have a number on the double revenge game parlay, a boosted number for Patrick Laine and Pierre-Luc Dubois to both score tonight.
And we'll tweet out our other boosted partner parlay as well. Best of luck this weekend, everybody. We will chat with you next week right here on The Lock Shop.